and welcome back to another collision course video. I'm your host Sophia Blue, and today we will be talking about global tapestry and networks of exchange throughout the time period 1200 to 1450. Global tapestry is pretty much the idea of the global powers during the 1200s. This included the Ottoman Empire and the Chinese Empire, both which had very big and important roles dominating the Silk Roads. Let's go to the thought bubble.
Ottomans, unlike the Chinese, had a very interesting geographical position. They were located in the center and the conjoining parts of the Silk Road and the Sand Roads, which was a major trading system in the African continent, and later on the sea routes. For now, we are going to focus on the Silk Road and the Sand Roads. The beginning of the Silk Road dates back to around 150 BCE, when China decided to open up trade routes. By the 1200s, the Silk Road was a major way of transportation for all types of supplies. China specialized in silk, tea, spices, and many also traded ideas, which was a very important part of global development.
Empires along the Silk Road would also trade with each other and with China to get many resources. China did dominate and control the Silk Road trade almost completely because in the beginning of the 12th century, the Mongols had taken over and were continuously expanding their empire. They gained an enormous amount of land/territory and resources. As they did this, they were almost completely unchecked. The Sand Roads, much like the Silk Roads, were a major transportation site for goods, but instead they ran through Africa.
The Sand Roads ran all throughout Africa and did not have any one major power controlling/dominating them. In Africa, at this time, there were many powerful city-states and civilizations, like Great Zimbabwe and the Swahili city-states. They were soon rising and becoming wealthy and powerful. Along the Sand Roads, different natural materials would be traded, like African ivory, gold, and wood from all over the continent.
The Sand Roads and the Silk Roads would get crossed over and goods would travel across each. A major way they did this was through the Ottoman Empire, who was growing from the prosperity and the power they had in that region, connecting the trade routes. By the end of the 13th century, the Silk and the Sand Roads were prospering, along with the sea routes, which were coming into play much more and becoming a much bigger way of trading due to the maritime technologies. During the early 1300s, the Mali Empire reached its height in Africa under the king Mansa Musa.
Mansa Musa was the 9th Mansa of the Mali Empire, which reached its territorial peak during his reign. Musa is known for his wealth and gift-giving and has sometimes been called one of the wealthiest people in history, though this claim is difficult to evaluate. Musa went on Hajj to Mecca in 1324, traveling with an enormous entourage and a vast supply of gold. En route, he spent time in Cairo, where his lavish gift-giving is said to have noticeably affected the value of gold in Egypt and generated the attention of the wider Muslim world.
At its peak, the Mongol Empire converted the most territory in all of history. Led by the first, Genghis Khan, the empire lasted from 1206 to 1368. During this time, it expanded to cover most of Eurasia, thanks to the advanced technology and massive horde of nomadic warriors.
The Mongols controlled between 11 and 12 million continuous square miles, an area about the size of Africa. During their extent, they killed over 40 million people, but they did give women rights and never converted anybody to their own religion.
The Mongols' reign did not last past 1368 due to the Black Death. The Black Death, also known as the bubonic plague, spread throughout Asia and Europe, killing 25 million Europeans. This spread throughout trade routes and started in the Mediterranean from rats. This soon became a pandemic.
And now, for the open letter. A thank you letter to the Black Plague. But first, what's in the secret compartment? Masks. Thank you, Black Plague masks, for being completely useless. But when people shoved flowers in you and essential oils, at least they smelled kind of nice when they died. And also, thank you for being complete nightmare fuel for the rest of eternity.
The 1400s weren't very entertaining, mostly because of the Black Plague, but some major events did occur.
In 1403, the Yongle Emperor moves the capital of China from Nanjing to Beijing. In 1415, Henry the Navigator leads conquests of Ceuta, making the beginning of the Portuguese Empire. In 1420, the Treaty of Troyes, Henry V signed and became the first king of France and England. In 1438, the Inca Empire begins. The leader is Machu Picchu. This is important because they were one of the first important empires of Mesoamerica. In 1441, the Portuguese reestablished the African slave trade.
Thank you so much for watching Collision Route this evening with me, your host, Sophia Blue, and I hope to see you next week when we cover the next unit of 1450 to 1700s. The Mongols are taking over! Hi, I'm Sophia Green. In my dreams. The Mongols, they were bisexual. I have never been so tired in my life. Hi. I'm Sophia Green. I'm blue. In summary, the Mongols also is the globe off? The booba up the boob. Sadly, the Mongols' reign did not last. Dun dun dun!
I zoomed out!
Which the Mongols had conquered, which later ended